Hi guys, I'm back, which is right there. The universe, I'm like, if you only knew, pick you up in a tsunami, spin you around in a tornado, and shoot you into oblivion. It does not care about you. We're at a rest stop. That's the bus right there. Next bus. We're at a rest stop somewhere in between Switzerland and Italy. As you can see, the Swiss and Italian flag. So we're somewhere in between Switzerland and Italy. You guys, I'm in the Swiss Alps right now at a rest stop. And something I learned, nosy, she all up in my business, what you looking at? Something I learned is that the most people I see all over the world are Chinese people and African men. I think every single one. Either the African men are selling things on the side of the street, like in Paris and Tokyo and Korea, or they're doing some work to support their family. That's probably back in Africa. Now, this is not meant to be confused. Sorry, I have a stuffy nose. This is not meant to be confused with black men. As in, black people usually refer to American men. So that would be black Americans. I'm talking about African men, straight from Africa. The #1 travelers of the world are Chinese people. They're in every country I've been to. I think it's amazing. Every single country I've been to, every single one, I have seen them. Every single country. I used to live there, you guys know, and I know that they love to buy group tours. Oh yeah, this map is a lie. It is completely false. It makes Europe look a lot bigger than it actually is, and it makes Africa look smaller than it actually is. Europe is extremely small, or should I say very small, not extremely small. Europe is very small. It is a very small continent. It is not being showed correctly. I'll have a video linked down below as to the breakdown of why that map is a lie. But it makes Greenland look way bigger. It makes Europe look way bigger, and it makes Africa look smaller than what it is. Africa is huge and Europe is very small, and it should actually be way different on this map. I have been to every single European country, and after I did that, and I went to each country by bus. I didn't fly to each country. I went bus to bus to bus to each country, and I realized, whoa, this place is so tiny, and it made me see how big America was in comparison to Europe, because I always thought in my head that America was small. It's huge in comparison to Europe. Hi guys, I'm back. I'm sitting near the Eiffel Tower now, which is right, hold on, right there. Nosy. Something I learned is that this earth is so small. Once I visited almost every corner of it, I realized how small we are. If you even think about our earth and how tiny it is in comparison to our galaxy, and how tiny our galaxy is in comparison to the universe, we are this freaking big, and it really makes your problems or everyday issues feel really, really, really small. And like your everyday struggles, I'm not saying that you are not valid to go through things in life, or that it's not valid to think things are a big deal, but things really aren't a big deal in the grand scheme of things. Our life is this short if you think about how quickly even a year goes by and a lifespan. We are so tiny, and just really, our earth is quite tiny. It was actually kind of scary to visit you know, so many countries, and eventually I'm gonna visit everyone, because it just puts in perspective how tiny our world is. It's very tiny, and that's why I'm not a believer in the universe. I really don't. I believe in God. I don't believe that, you know, you hear people say the universe is looking out for you, Mother Nature is looking out for you, the universe will make everything right, the universe protects me, or whatever people say about the universe. I'm like, if you only knew what little tiny grain of sand you are, the universe does not care about you. Okay? It does not care about you. God cares about you, but the universe will chew you up and spit you out. It will suck you up in a tsunami, spin you around in a tornado, and shoot you into oblivion. It does not care about you, okay? God does. The universe, oh my god. Sorry. Oh my gosh, just... the universe doesn't care about you, okay? Another thing I learned is everybody acts the same. Now, what do I mean by this? I have traveled the world, like we've talked about 10 million times in this video, and every time I explain myself, who I am, what I'm doing to somebody, their mouth is dropped open and they say, you know, and I ask, why is it so surprising to you that I am like this, that I'm doing this? And they said, it's not normal. So there is always a normal, there's always a status quo within towns, neighborhoods, countries, ethnicities, races, and most people within those groups act the same. For example, just from the small town I'm from, everybody, well, I'm from, where I went to high school, it's called Woodbury, New Jersey. Everybody in Woodbury acts the same. They eventually end up doing the same lifestyle, living life similarly. And then if you zoom out within races, so the black race in America, they kind of act similar. You know, they either do this or they do that within their race. And then within white races in America, they kind of do the same. And then you zoom out more, in the country of America, we all kind of act and do the same status quo things. And then it's like that with everywhere. If you are in India, most Indians act culturally, you know, they don't really go outside of the cultural norms. You know, within even little tiny countries, I notice people everybody's like, you ever see ants building a home going the same way within their group? So I thought that people were kind of surprised by what I do, because in America it's not normal for me to be acting like this. But no, around the world it's like this. People don't usually, especially in China, they're a very traditional country. They do what is normal to do within that country, within that culture. So yeah, most people go the same way. There's not a lot of different people in the world, and I noticed that when I started traveling, that, you know, most people are going in the they're in the ant line. I don't know what else to call that. You know, when ants are in a single file line. They all might have different jobs, but they're still going in the same direction. And I think I'm one of those people who kind of, not only am I going opposite direction, I'm going in a completely different direction than most people. And I didn't notice how different I was until I started traveling the world. And I always get questions, no matter which country I'm in, saying, what does your family think? I'm like, you know, the point of life is not to just do what your family wants you to do. Not that my family doesn't want me to do this, you know what I mean. Something else I learned, and it's so funny because before traveling, I didn't really know what I was. My family had told me growing up that we were a lot Native American, which were the original people in America that were killed off. I knew that we were very much Native American. I have very Native American hair and features. But other than that, and obviously ancestors came from slaves as well, so African. But nobody in America, no black Americans, we don't know what the heck we are or where we're from. We're not really from anywhere because we're so mixed up. We're from America. Anyways, I never knew how East African I looked until I started traveling, or until I went to East Africa. I went to Ethiopia, and as soon as I got off the airplane, everybody was talking to me in Ethiopian. And if you've been to Ethiopia, there's two lines once you get to the airport. One is for Ethiopian natives, and then the other line is for foreigners. And everybody was dragging me, and the people were dragging me and putting me in the Ethiopian line. And I kept saying, I'm not Ethiopian. And they were looking at me like, I went there. And then it was funny because then afterward I did a DNA test and found out that I am mostly East African in my blood, of all the places. But I am Native American and a lot of other things mixed up. But mostly what I am is East African, and I think it's funny that I didn't know that until I went there, and everybody was kind of treating me like I was one of them, and that was pretty cool. I think in America we have the biggest roads in the world, and I never noticed that because I didn't leave America until I was 19. Yes, 19. The first 19 years of my life I never left the country, besides Canada, but Canada is like, you know. But it wasn't until I left America and then I went back, I'm like, whoa, our roads are huge. Like our highways and just the size of our streets and roads, even within neighborhoods, are huge. And I didn't notice that until I traveled Europe, and these roads are so tiny. Everything is so tiny. The sidewalks, the roads, the cars here are so tiny. And so when I went back to America, I realized how giant our roads are. They're huge, and I never knew that until I left America, so that was pretty cool to find out. Yeah, we have really big cars and really big roads, I think, across the planet. Just huge roads. You know how like you're in high school and at the end of the year or at the end of high school, everybody gets most likely to succeed, most artistic, most likely to become rich, or a millionaire or billionaire, or most fashionable, or most whatever. I feel like I see the world that way. There's this amazing YouTube video of somebody depicting the world as different people. It's somewhere here on YouTube, and it's so great. They depicted America as like, if America were a person, it'd be like a very rich, spoiled, young, white boy. And that's so true. And they depicted Africa as like a very traditional, wise, beautiful woman who, I'm not going to go into it. I think you should check the video out. Anyways, I see that as, if I were to give awards to different countries in what I've experienced and what I've seen, I would definitely say that I can see that, this is my opinion, I love all people. I love white people, I love black people, I love Latinos, I love Europeans, I love everybody, okay? I don't want to offend anybody, but I think that black people and Asians are the trendsetters of the world. In my opinion, we set trends, we kind of, and I'm not the only one who said this. When I was in Asia, when I was in Korea, I was by myself sitting at a cafe, and a Korean guy had come in and he asked me for my number, and he left, and then the girl came up, a Korean woman came up to me and she goes, "Did you give him your number?" And I said, "No, but I gave him my Instagram, but I'm not really interested, you know." And she goes, "You know, here in Korea, we're known for loving black people." And I said, "Yeah, I know that." And she goes, "You know, it's said that black people and Asians, we are like the trendsetters." I don't know how we got into this conversation, but we're the trendsetters of the world. And here, they said here, and even in Korea, we think that black people are like, more than us, the trendsetters of the world. Now, trendsetters can mean so many different things. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Maybe I'll do a different video on what I mean. It does not mean we're superior to the human race. It does not mean we are the only good looking people, obviously, of the human race. It just means we kind of set the trends. You know, trendy people in high school that kind of set the tone for fashion, set the tone for coolness. That's kind of how I see us. If the world was high school and, you know, each race was a different characteristic, obviously there's more to black people than being trendsetters, and there's more to Asian people than being trendsetters. I just think of the world, we are the trendsetters. We kind of, I don't want to get in trouble for what I'm saying. We kind of set the tone and everybody copies us. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it, okay? Another thing I found out is that the world loves Cardi B. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge Cardi B fan. It's not my style, it's not my cup of tea, but I have heard this woman's music across the planet. I remember I was in this tiny little town in Chile called San Pedro de Atacama. It's the most remote, tiny little, in the middle of nowhere desert. It's absolutely gorgeous though, in Chile. And I got in a taxi to get to my hotel, and I turned on the taxi, and he wasn't putting it on because he saw we were American. It automatically turned on when he turned the car on. Cardi B was playing, and then when I was eating at this little tiny restaurant on the side of a dirt road, Cardi B was playing. In Argentina, I heard Cardi B playing in the cars and in the malls. In China, even in the malls, you hear Cardi B. Here in Paris, you hear, like, I've heard this woman across the planet. There's other artists I hear across the planet as well, like Beyonce and Michael Jackson. Oh, Michael Jackson. I hear his music. I think he's probably the most loved artist of all time because I hear his music everywhere, every country, especially in China. They love Michael Jackson. They love Michael Jackson here, and across the planet they love Michael Jackson. In Iceland, it was really funny to hear Michael Jackson music. So yeah, they love, I think the most loved artists across the planet are Beyonce, Michael Jackson, and also very recently, Cardi B, which is really interesting. Dropping. Okay, I'm having issues getting my words out here. What I'm trying to say is, the people in Portugal are some kind of nice that is unearthly. What am I saying? It's otherworldly, okay? It doesn't seem real how kind those people are. So I thought that Japan had the kindest people, and they do. They're a strong second to Portugal, because I would say they're not number one, because Japanese culture is to be kind. So they're doing it because it's culturally correct. Where in Portugal, I think it's a little bit more genuine, where they don't have to be nice in Portugal, they just are. I don't know why. The cheapest place to buy Versace, the cheapest place to buy designer items is in Europe, specifically Italy and Rome. I have a Louis Vuitton bag and I paid $750 US for it, and in America this would have cost me $1,000. Realize that this earth is so beautiful. There has been about 5 times where I have been completely speechless. I think I'm gonna do a separate video on this where I'm literally stunned. Like I'm in a state of, I'm paralyzed by what my eyes are witnessing. Those 5 times were in Chile, Bolivia, Argentina, China, Africa, and Jordan. Now I'm gonna make a separate video, maybe a story time in the 5 times I was paralyzed because of beauty, because the stories are just, will take way too long for me to explain to you. Like for example, the one in Bolivia, I was sleeping on a bus. I had a 16-hour bus ride through the salt plains of Bolivia and through the mountains of Argentina, and I woke up just from, you know, when you're on a 16-hour bus ride, you wake up, you fall asleep, you wake up, you fall asleep. I had just waken up and I witnessed something that literally just made I projectile cried because I just never, it looked like a vision from heaven. So anyways, those are 5 places that I have been paralyzed by nature, by beauty. Also, I think America, don't quote me on this, but quote me. I think that we are the only country that has one colored money. Every single country I've been to, their money is all different colors. Like a 20 might be blue, a 10 might be orange, a 5 might be green, you know? Every country, and their money is so beautiful. It looks like, their money looks like artwork. I've collected dollars from every country, so I can show you my collection. But in America, it's only green, and I don't know if there's a reason behind that, but yeah, I found that pretty interesting. Another thing, let me not say another thing. You have not seen rich until you have been to Abu Dhabi, Oman.
Agora vem aqui, faz uma foto aqui, vem.
Girl decided to sit right next to me. It's okay.